Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Quilt-Cam. I'm Bonnie Hunter in the basement at Quiltville near Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Had to think a bit. I just got back from New York, so you never know where I'm going to think I am at any given moment. It's been a crazy couple of days. Have you ever had it that way? Tell you what, if you wanted to read about what yesterday was like, check my yesterday's happenings in this morning's blog post. It's just been one thing after another. Hello, everybody joining. So glad that you found us. If you've had a hard time finding us, maybe you haven't followed along with my Quiltville page. If you have me checked so that I show up first in your news feed, that might help notifications get to you that we're doing Quilt-Cam live. Hopefully, if you aren't able to catch this, you're catching it later, either embedded in tomorrow morning's blog post or on my YouTube channel, which is always a great place to go catch up if you weren't able to watch us for any reason. But I was talking about how Mama said there'd be days like this, and I think I've had two of them in a row. I lost that dang crown again, and today, oh, you guys, here I am waiting for my much longed for and anticipated massage. And the therapist comes in and she moves down the sheet and she says, "Oh, did you know you have a tick on your back?" Sure, I know I have a tick on my back. He comes with me wherever I go. Get it off of me. So we spent some time, gosh, that little bugger didn't want to let go. So she put some eucalyptus oil on him repetitively. And I think eventually he just kind of just croaked, and she was able to use a tissue and the corkscrew method to get him out without breaking his head off. And after I was done with my massage, I had to head on over to the doctor to go get antibiotics, because the doctor took a look at the wound and the tick and said, "That's a deer tick. And where have you been the last few days?" And when I said I just got back from New York, "Were you hiking in the woods?" "Yes, I was hiking in the woods." "We're putting you on antibiotics." So better safe than sorry. Is it going to stop me from going out into the woods? No. We're just going to have massages more regularly so the massage therapist can find stuff like that. I guess the life lesson in this for me is that you cannot stop your life just because something undesirable might happen. And if we just keep on going, we can look back at what we've made it through and say, "Look, I made it through this. I may as well keep on going through what I'm going through." So what am I going through tonight? More sugar bowl blocks. I have not touched these since the last time we did Quilt-Cam, because I have been up in New York and I've been gone. I've had other irons in the fire. I had a quilt that needed the binding finished on it and the hanging sleeve so it could be sent off to photography. It's just been my back burner project. It's been over a couple of weeks since we've been able to do Quilt-Cam. So I'm excited to be back working on these again. And you'll find the tutorial for these sugar bowl blocks under the free patterns tab at the top of my blog at quiltville.blogspot.com. There's all kinds of free things there for you to give your hand a try at. And you know what's nice about small blocks like this is they're a common size. This block finishes at 6 inches. There's other things on that blog that finish at 6 inches as well, and maybe you have other 6-inch blocks. Do a sampler. Just give a few a try. Do a mini quilt. Make a baby quilt. Not everything has to fit a bed. I am sewing tonight on probably one of the newest machines in my vintage machine fleet. I have a thing for blue machines. I have quite a few blue machines, and they're all different shades of blue from each other. Some are a sparkly metallic blue. This one, 1967. It's a Wizard Citation, and Wizard was made by and sold through the Western Auto Stores catalogs. It's made in Japan. It's very, very, very basic machine. Straight stitch only. There's not even a light on this machine. So this would be what somebody would get for maybe a teenager's Christmas present, or maybe a high school graduation or something like that. Very, very, very bare bones. Who knows? You could have been able to get a machine like this by collecting green stamps. The thing that I noticed when I was replacing the machine, popping the other one out of the cabinet and putting this one in, these bases are all the same size and shape, and the hinge pins are in the same place. The machine manufacturers got smart and realized that if somebody had an older Singer machine already in a cabinet, that they'd be more likely to buy the machine to fit the cabinet they already had than buy a new machine and a new cabinet. And if somebody was trading in a machine, they could just trade the machine, and then the shops didn't end up with a whole bunch of cabinets that they didn't want as well. So this machine fits this cabinet. Most of the machines I have do fit this cabinet, with one exception: my Necky machines. The Necky machines do not fit this cabinet. So if I ever come across a Necky cabinet, I'm likely to sweep that up and find a place for it somewhere in the basement studio, because I'd much prefer to work on a machine that's in a cabinet than a machine that's on a table, making the machine that much higher and not being able to sew on a flat space. If it is your first time joining me for Quilt-Cam, I want to welcome you. Quilt-Cam isn't something that happens on a regular schedule. We kind of wing it. Who's going to be home tonight? Who can do it tonight? When's the next trip? How long are you going to be gone? Empty, open evening? Let's do it. So tonight we are here just for about an hour, and we can sew together. The one way that you can share with me what you are working on is to send me a photo by email to my email address, which is quiltville@gmail.com. If you're on Facebook right now, anything that you're posting into the comments, I am unable to see, because the laptop is quite far away from me and I can barely see anything but the hearts and thumbs up and smiley faces that are being posted. But my vision is not as such that I can really read who is posting there in the comment section. So do send me a photo. Do send me what you're working on, and let me know what's going on in your world. What's under your needle? What are you finishing? Are you getting excited for mystery season? Lots of questions have happened recently, and every day I'm answering emails or Facebook messages. Are you doing a mystery this year? When do the colors come out? When does the mystery start? We generally, unless there's something that happens for whatever reason, travel or whatever, have you the yardage requirements and colors by the end of the month. I get back from China on the 29th. I will try my best to have them posted at the latest by Halloween or November 1st. I know I'm going to need some time with the jet lag, and there's a lot of writing and a lot of prep that needs to go into getting all of that information, making sure that the yardage is correct and the colors are correct, and photos of my actual fabrics that I'm using so that you can kind of gauge what to pull from your stash. So that will come on the tail end of China, okay? First clue always goes live the day after Thanksgiving. That's here in the States. So you're looking for clue number 1 to go live the 4th Friday of November, okay? Most of us have enough leftovers in our fridge. We can have pizza delivered or whatever it is, but I don't think that anybody needs to be out shopping at that time. So hopefully you can print that clue off, call your friends, text your friends, start cutting into the fabric, and we're going to have a fun several weeks throughout the holidays. Like I said, it's my favorite time of the year, and I'm really looking forward to it. Yes, the quilt is done. It's bound, it's labeled, the sleeve is on, and my goal was to have it done before going to China, so I knew exactly what was going in it. So I'm feeling a little bit ahead of the game and quite chuffed at the whole prospect. So what I want to do is sew a little bit on this machine. I did my seam test, 2 squares right sides together. Make sure that those 2 2-inch squares equals 3.5 inches on the ruler. Put the ruler across the top. The numbers do not lie. I might not get an accurate reading if I'm stretching it over here on my mat. Stretching happens. So put the ruler down on top. The numbers are easily readable that way. So I knew I was good. with this machine and my little seam guide here. And now I am to the point of, I've got this block in rows across, and I'm ready to start sewing those rows to each other. I'm doing a bit of finger pressing. I do a lot of finger pressing because we just want a good flat seam. We're not trying to change the shape of the fabric, not quite yet. Not unless we need to reach or stretch or press into submission. And I'm going to sew a seam. What I love about this machine is it's just very, very sleek, very blue. And it runs relatively quietly. I gave it a little bit of oil before we started sewing together today. The Class 15 machines are just a workhorse and just so much fun. All right, so I've been using other block pieces as my leaders and enders while I keep going. So I'm going to just really quick send some of these through here. And then I'll take your emails in just a second. Things that are going on around here at home. The hot tub is gone from the cabin. We are replacing it with a newer, deeper version, so it wasn't like we were just sitting up to our armpits and having the rest of us above water. As tall people, it felt like we were sitting in a kiddie wading pool. You have to like almost lay flat to be under the water. So that hot tub is being adopted by our friends Rick and Mona. There'll be a new hot tub. That's our Christmas gift to each other this year. But the deck is going to have to be rebuilt. So that's been going on. And the drywall in the basement is fixed. Hooray. Isn't it nice that everybody just has normal stuff? I never thought that I'd be so happy about drywall being fixed after that plumbing accident we had where we had a leaky main stack because the house is, well, shoot, it's almost 30 years old. So, okay, sewing this baby here. We'll get these pressed out here in just a second, but I am going to turn right into my email and see what's going on with you. I get tired of talking to myself about myself. We'll talk about what you're doing. So we are reading Amber, who says, Quilt-Cam project, working on binding on blue and white snowflake quilt. This was in volume 14 issue of Quilt Maker 100 Blocks by 100 Designers, and the block is called Somersault, and it's absolutely beautiful. Oh, that is pretty. So she's working on her quilt right there tonight with us. Would love to say hello to you. If you have these issues of Quilt Maker Magazine's The 100 Blocks issues, keep them close by, and when you have a minute, just thumb through and turn pages. You'll be amazed at how quickly you can be inspired by something you ever forgot. You didn't remember you saw it before, you forgot you'd seen it, you see it again, and it's like, wow, why did I not remember this? 100 blocks per issue, that's 200 blocks per year worth of inspiration. So that's why I like magazines on hand, in my hands, paper magazines, not digital. I like paper books in my hands, not digital, because sometimes I just love to just pick up some random book that I haven't looked at in a while and just turn the pages and look at the photos and see how the colors hit me, see how the border treatments hit me and the layouts and what they're set with, and I might see something that I didn't notice before. If I have a digital book on my phone, on my tablet, on my computer, whatever it is, I very, very rarely remember to go back and just turn pages or make notes or put sticky papers in there with my own notes on it. So if you prefer paper books to digital books, I'd love to know. Give me an idea. And if you do like the digital books, tell me how you use them best. How do you make a digital book work for you to your best ability? And maybe you like both. I think if I had a digital book and I was going somewhere to sew and I had the instructions on my phone, that would be great, or instructions on my tablet. But I still think, all in all, I would prefer to have a paper hard copy book. All right, next one. That is absolutely beautiful. I love that blue snowflake fabric. Really pretty. This one is from Jean, and she says, under my needle, I'm working on blocks for a group quilt. Looking forward to this year's mystery. And she's got, oh, those are fun. Those are fun. So she's got some uneven 9 patches there, so you can see that the centers float up or down or whatever. Those would be really fun to make scrappy. Great job, Jean. Glad to have you with us. Jean went antiquing with me when I was out in Wichita, and then she also came on one of my cruises. So it's really fun to see people's names come up every once in a while. This one's from Ellen, and she says, from Ellen in San Jose, thanks for Quilt-Cam. Just finished piecing these blocks this morning and am getting them stitched together. Not sure of borders yet, but thanks for a great pattern. Have a great trip to China. I can hardly wait for the mystery fabric colors. And she's working on her Texas Tumbleweed. This was also in Quiltmaker magazine, and it's featured in my book, More Adventures with Leaders and Enders. It's one of those 2-block wonders. I love 2-block quilts for the secondary designs that they do. Her colors are gorgeous, and her ladder block she's done with that really pretty dark turquoise color. Love that. San Jose is my early stomping grounds. I lived in San Jose from the time I was 2nd grade through high school. So it's always fun to hear from the San Jose contingency. Usha Devi says, Charity Orphan Block Crumb Quilt. This is Usha from Cedar Park, Texas. This is the recent charity quilt I finished. I am glad I participated in the challenge. I had lots of fun and learned a lot while piecing and quilting. And she shares her photo here. Oh, that's pretty. So it's like a sampler. There's some churn dash blocks and some other alternate blocks in there. There's her challenge quilt right there. Always participate in things like that. Participate in things that are going to stretch your boundaries and push you a little farther. It might not include fabric that you're used to using if they want you to use this certain focal fabric for a challenge. Give it a try. Makes it really fun. Okay. So we have lots of under our needles tonight. So here is Mary, and she says, wishing I was stitching tonight. My quilt machine is giving me fits today. Uh-oh. Trying to quilt this quilt for a friend. I prefer the paper hard copy books as well. The added spiral binding would be something you could add to yours. Really can't because of shipping. If you imagine how books have to be shipped, what happens is that they smash in the package. So spiral binding is a personal choice. Just drop them off at the office supply when you're on your way to town. But we have to think about how things are shipped, and those spiral bindings can be very brittle, okay? And she says, it's balloon weekend here in Walla Walla, Washington. So wonderful. She's got a photo as well. Let's see, I wonder if I turn that sideways. She's got a lot of black background around the photo, so I'm trying to show you. She's got these blocks on tilt. That's the one that she's quilting for her friend, and the machine is having fits. So hopefully she gets that fixed out. That's a really, really cute wonky 4-patch quilt. Veronica says, quilt finish. I must work better under a deadline. Don't most of us. I got to have some kind of a deadline, or else it's just, they'll sit around while I work on stuff that does have a deadline. And then I have to push these forward again. She says, I put the last stitch in at 8 a.m. this morning, washed and dried just in time to give to family at 10 a.m. So she was right on the money there. Oh, how pretty. She's put it outside on the grass so we can see the sunlight on it. And she's got like a buzzsaw quilt right there that she has made and gifted already. So it's being snuggled by somebody else tonight. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so I am to the point where this block here in the machine is now done. We'll move that stuff out of the way so you can see. These are recycled fabrics. So from shirts, some of them were gifted and came in squishy packages in the mail. Some of them are shirt parts that I've had on hand for a while. So the new to me is being paired up with the old to me, and I spent oh, maybe an hour or so, just kitting and cutting and laying out on my cookie sheet, so they're really easy to grab the set and just sew here. I am going to press these triangles. I don't want to lay flat. Do you chain press? I like to leave my chains together while I press. It's less handling. And then we're going to just lay these out. Oh, I don't want to lay those out yet. I need to cut some pairs. So I already cut my strip set in half. And this is the easiest way I have found to do this. Rather than cut 6 individual sections, I double it over and switch so that the light is on dark, dark on light, and just cut 3 pairs. Which cuts my cutting time in half, and then they're already matched right sides together to go through the machine. The light is pretty glary right over my head. It's reflecting in the ruler just a bit. Okay, one of the questions that came in earlier, how do you sew on a trip to China, and is there going to be sewing machines, and how much of a quilting trip is this really? Good question, good question. Well, one of the things that I tell everybody who's coming, now some of the gals have husbands with them, so the husbands won't be bringing anything, maybe a book to read, but I tell everybody to bring their own handwork, whatever they're working on, and then we can sit around and stitch in the evenings or afternoons when we're done with our tour for the day, and it's much just like a sewing bee. We're all working on our own things in our own circle. So somebody might have knitting, somebody might have crochet, somebody might have some wool applique or some hand piecing. And I also kit up a project to do a mini workshop with everybody. Our main goal while we are together on any of these land tours, of course, if you're going to go all the way to China, you're not going to want to chain yourself into a boardroom in the hotel and spend the whole day in a workshop environment. So we do a couple hours here, then we might do another couple hours on the next day or something like that. So we have plenty of stitching time together over the course of the whole time that we are there. And everybody is always welcome if we have a long bus ride out to wherever it is, the Great Wall or the Terracotta Warriors or however long that travel is, to just keep part of their kit with them in their handbag, their purse, their backpack, whatever it is. And we can stitch together on the bus as well as look out the windows and visit and see the sights and things like that. So I would say that we are traveling to look at the country through the eyes of a quilter. We're going to be observing the textiles. We're going to a silk manufacturing company, so there is some textile excursions for us right there. But we're looking at the colors and the sights and the sounds and the things that inspire. And it might be something you see on a piece of pottery. It might be something that you see in the tiles on a floor or the walls or the design that's carved into a ceiling of a temple. You never know what's going to inspire you. And since we are all quilters traveling together, it makes it very easy for people who maybe your husband doesn't want to go, but you want to come travel with quilters so that you have things in common with the people that you're traveling with. So we already know that we're going to get along just great because we have this quilting thing in common. But a lot of our experiences that we build together, a lot of our memories that are formed by this trip will also create a lot of friendships and things like that. So then maybe we will really quilt with machines together another time. So there's all different kinds of quilting. Sometimes it's just the quilting that goes on in your head with like-minded people, right? So that's what happens. We are all meeting up in Seattle on Friday morning, and then we'll fly to China. Our flight leaves at like 2:30 in the afternoon on Friday, and it takes a while to get through customs and do all that stuff. We fly to Beijing, and all of our trips are out from Beijing, and Forgive me if I pronounce places wrong, but I think it's Jian, something like that. Anyway, we've got a Chinese guide on the ground in China who will meet our group when we get to the gate, and they say jump and we say how high, and we're going to have fun doing it, and it's going to be wonderful. I did sign up for a VPN, which is a virtual private network. I should be able to blog through that. China has banned Facebook and anything Google related, which would leave me dead in the water as far as posting goes. But I think with the VPN, I should be okay. At least that's what I've been told. So hopefully there will be posts of what's going on all through social media while we're gone. If not, take a nice break and we'll catch you up when we get back. All right, so am I out of bobbin? I am. Holy moly. Okay. So we'll trade that bobbin out, but I'm going to press this first. I am enamored with big plaids when the lines do not match. Do not try to make these so that all of the lines come together and match. This is not high school home ec where you're trying to match the plaid on your skirt. This is patchwork. Let it fall wherever it falls. And this time it fell with no bobbin in the machine. Can we say out of bobbin experience? And a little bit of fuzz. Okay. No worries, because this is a standard class 15 bobbin, and I already have some over here waiting, so we'll just pop a new one in. These machines are so simple that they are easy to maintain and clean and oil yourself. See, so this one's got to go this way, so this comes through here. Class 15 bobbins are about the size of the older style Bernina bobbin, and they hold a lot of thread. That just clicks right into there, and we'll be off and running again. The other thing that I have greatly fallen in love with, and I don't know, I've had this for years, and I never figured out how to use it. This is a machine needle threader. And when you have a side threading machine, instead of having to put your head on the table to try to thread sideways, this has become my new best friend. I am just giddy. I need to get some more of these so that I have some at the cabin and one for my busy bag. Have you ever used one of these? It's amazing. Check them out. This one I think is by Dritz. So when you've got that 50% off coupon from Joann's and you can't figure out where to use it, machine needle threader. So I've had people tell me that they love their $10,000 machine because it automatically threads their needles. I think this probably cost me what, $249. So I'm tickled. I'm tickled with this. I'm now can't live without it. I love it so much I'm going to give it a name. We'll see. Okay, let's put these guys back through here. Okay, come on. I think I held on to that thread too tight. There we go. These machines are just so simple. And the colors and the body styles are fun, aren't they? Okay, so let's see. Who do we have joining us now? Okay, so this one is from Susie Emmons in Texas, and she says, I'm not able to watch you live as I'm at a meeting, but she's sneaking to send us an email to let us know that she's not able to watch. She's in a meeting. Susie, you sure you can't sneak Facebook too? She says, I wanted to share this with you. Thanks for your inspiration. And she's got, oh, cute. Cute, cute, cute. So this is, I'm going to scoot this over here. So she's got a black cat sitting on the table runner. And if you look at the far back side of that table runner, those are the pumpkins from the pumpkin patch pattern that's in Quiltmaker magazine, the September-October issue. Cute, cute, cute. She's done them with neutral strings and set it on black. I love that. That is just wonderful. Great job. So hopefully she'll be joining us when she's done with her meeting, and we'll see that we did that. Irene says, just posting to Facebook when I saw Quilt-Cam, but I'm with family at the Founding Fathers, a restaurant in McLean, Virginia. But look what's on the posts. Hexies. Oh my gosh. So, so this is one of the pillars in the restaurant she's at right now. Who stuck their hexies up on that pillar? That is too funny, Irene. That is amazing. Okay, hexies everywhere. Isn't it funny? What you look for, you will find. Enjoy your dinner. So this one is from Mel, from Home Ec with Mel, and she says, normally make oversized quilt blocks, 15 inches or so, but got the bug to challenge myself. I've entered it into a contest for mini quilts. It's 12 inches finished, borders and all. I am planning my next big projects. I need bigger pieces, she says. So this is really, really cute. And it's little mini triangles there in a spiral surrounded by borders. And the whole thing finishes at 12 inches. So how many mini quilt lovers do we have out there? I was thinking maybe not mini, but I think I could get myself into 30 inches or less and maybe do a bunch of those. Wouldn't that be fun as the next Addicted to Scraps book that comes out? A bunch of small quilts instead of everything being queen or king. I love that, Mel. That is great. Which machine did you sew that on? She's also a Necky lover. So we have that in common, and I love seeing her machines when she posts those. Jean Bissell says, my Jamestown landing continues. Today I assembled the center, and when I got to the point of the inner border, I did one of those Quiltville studio posts about which fabric do I use. Oh, Jean, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever put that out there. The answers do not help. They do not help. It'll be 50 of one and 50 of the other, and it won't help you at all. She says, I received many suggestions, knowing there is no wrong answer. I opted for the bottom, black on white. I have the most of it, and it will work. Now to finish the string pieced outer border. Looking forward to seeing you in Brookings, Oregon in December. It'll be fun to see you during mystery season. So here is her Jamestown landing and her border piecing right there. And those blue piano key borders look so great. I love the Jamestown landing quilt. That's one of my favorites. That looks wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And Lisa says, who are you? Who? I'm not going to sing. But now I can hear that. Let's put some CSI on. She says, radio is on and parts are cut to assemble 40 houses for a block swap with Quilty Friends. So happy to be able to join you and get this deadline project going. They're going to Peoria, Illinois, where the group is. Isn't that true? Deadlines. I sense a theme. We've now had deadlines mentioned 3 times tonight. She says, thanks for keeping me inspired. I miss my sewing peeps. And she sent a photo of her featherweight, the house blocks she's working on, and there's her laptop or her tablet in the background there, keeping her busy. So hello to you from all of us all over the world. Those houses are adorable. Thank you for sharing those with us tonight, Lisa. Okay, one more and I'm going to sew. This is from Rita, and she says, Gruber's Retreat Center. 3 friends quilting at Gruber's. We are sewing Pumpkins, Perfect Squares by Kate Griffin, and Acorns Promise by In Your Bonnet Quilts. Also shopping at Gruber's Quilt Shop to take a break. Remember my Minnesota quilt that says Minnesota, S-E-W, ta? Gruber's is in Minnesota, and that's where that shirt came from. It's my absolute favorite. And they're sharing what they're working on tonight. And you can see, I'm just going to leave this here, sampling of what's going on under their needles while they are on retreat tonight. I see lots of pumpkins. Pumpkin season is my favorite. In fact, I can pull this up here. I went to the chiropractor today after the tick removal at the massage therapist and before going to the doctor to have the tick bite checked out and get antibiotics. My chiropractors is in an old house, and they are notorious for decorating for every oh gosh, it got my shadow, so I look like I am a the chalk line on the sidewalk. But I walked up the sidewalk, and here are some things in the yard at the chiropractor's. That's my shadow. But do you see the headstone with the backbone? It's like they took the backbone off of the stand inside and just laid it out on the ground. At first I thought it was a white snake, but it's not. This is the outside of the front porch of the Victorian house. I don't know if you can see, it was kind of sunny and the porch was in the shade, but there is cobwebs all over the bushes and a whole bunch of spooky stuff on the front porch. So it's just really fun. I love where I live. I've lived here almost 10 years now. I hope I retire here because it's just the most fun ever. Okay, so we've got, I can take 2 of these off, leave that one there. So my leader ender project, the checkerboard rails, is up at the cabin. I won't be going back up to the cabin until I get back from China. So I have just been using block parts from further blocks down the line to keep these going. And I will go as far as I can on one block, and when I can't go any further, I start pulling the next block's pieces in. So there's many ways that you can work with leaders and enders here. So I'm just going to lay these out. Here's 2 triangles, here's 2 triangles, and 2 squares. This guy is still under here, but we will pull him out in just a minute. Feels good to have my foot on the pedal. I did borrow a machine while I was in New York from a couple of folks, and I'm very appreciative on that. And that project is also kitted up, but it is just staying as a travel project until those blocks are done. And that was the rolling stone blocks. Remember, I did a whole batch, more than half the quilt's worth, and they were inside out. They were wrong, and I'm having to remake those. They're kind of in timeout on purpose, but I'll work on them when I'm on the road. I got about 8 of those done while I was gone this past week. Some nights I couldn't sew because there was a lecture that night or something. Okay, so here's this bottom guy. Now that's as far as I can go on this one without removing it from the machine to add these. So I'm going to just grab this next one. If I get going too fast, the machine vibrates. It's kind of like sewing on one of those plastic lightweight tables. Okay. Now we're going to add the 3rd section on. As I'm sitting here working on these, I'm thinking, shoot, if you just gave me a supply of recycled shirts, I could sew for the rest of my life and be perfectly happy. Okay, then that's as far as we can go there, so we're going to send a triangle through. Just keep the piecing continuous and leave the last of whatever is on your chain under the presser foot. It doesn't even have to be a separate project. It can be part of what you're working on. So this batch is brown stripe and a cream chicken wire. Now the chicken wire and the stripe are not recycled in this batch. This whole block is. I was cutting these out at the cabin and I had limited fabric up there. So some of this stuff was, okay, that was gifted from somebody, therefore it's recycled. If I didn't buy it, it's recycled. So we have loopholes, and that's okay. We can do that. I'm going to cut these guys real quick. I like loopholes. I think life should have loopholes. Like, can I get a do-over for this entire week? I'd like to start over tomorrow. But tomorrow is a day for packing, 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 packing. I checked the weather. It's only supposed to have a slight chance of rain midweek in China. So the question is, since most of the stuff I own anyway was already made in China, do I really want to pack my umbrella and take it to China, or can I just buy a new one there? You know, I think I will pack maybe 5. If we got a 10-day trip, I'm going to pack 5 outfits and then just wear everything twice maybe and buy some other stuff. I don't want to carry a lot. I've got to bring all of the 20 kits with me. So that's going to take up a big selection, and the luggage can't go over 50 pounds. So, you know, you might see me wearing the same pair of jeans more than once. I am just so excited I can hardly stand it. Okay, I can feel that seam nest, and that's all I'm doing is I'm feeling that seam nest, and then I sew to the nest. And if my seams are all happening where they should, 99% of the time I'm hitting right where I need to be. Okay, so there's that triangle. Send this one through. And using the parts for the next block as your leaders and enders really does help the next block down the road be more than half done by the time that you're ready to stitch it. I'm not sure who's texting. That sounded like a text vibrate over here. I will check that. It's probably somebody saying that, you know, you've got something on your face or whatever it is. It wouldn't be the first time. Okay. Jill's going with me to China. She says, pack your good walking shoes. We are going to crush the Great Wall of China. Yes. Oh, speaking of shoes, you got to see these. Speaking of shoes made in China, I'm not even sure which website I saw these in, and it might have even been an ad that came through Facebook or whatever, and I clicked the ad, and I got trapped into the great shoe depository in the sky. But aren't these cute? Aren't these just cute? The whole shoe is elastic. So I've worn these now for 2 days, and they are the most comfortable things I have ever worn. I bought 2 pairs. The other pair is blue with rainbow, and then these are the black with rainbow. There was not even an invoice in the package, but it was sent from China at a very reasonable price. So I have a feeling that I'm going to find some really cool stuff there. I'm not sure what, and I never really had a shoe fetish before, but these, and there's no name inside. There's no brand. There's no nothing. And I can't remember the name of the website that I ordered from. So I'll have to go back into my PayPal and see who that was paid out to and see if I can find them again, because those were cute. Okay, so that's that one. And we're going to do this. Usually you'll find me just in tennis shoes and jeans and very, very casual. No, country girl. I like it simple. I don't do high heels unless it's a wedding or a funeral. But these shoes, they were cute. Okay, pink on gray, looks good. Ever since I was a little girl, I've had a thing about Mary Jane shoes. I also had a thing about jumpers, and I think my favorite fashion era, don't laugh, the mid 1990s to the late 1990s, when it was those school teacher jumpers you could just throw over a t-shirt and wear your kids with bobby socks. Fabulous. Love that. Wore that uniform out. I loved it. I wouldn't mind it if they brought that wardrobe style back. Comfy. But ever since I was a little girl, I loved jumpers. Jumper over a blouse or jumper over a t-shirt. Loved jumpers. And I know that down in Australia, it's a different word. Sweater is jumper in that definition. Okay. So let's see who we've got in. Let's take a break. Those pumpkins were cute. Linda Price says, sewing lamp. What is the name of the lamp you have sitting there on your sewing table? So if it's this one, this is the one from IKEA. I like it because the bulb does not get hot, and it's only $10. So this one, I have these IKEA lights everywhere, and it's very, very positionable. So especially with this machine that doesn't have a light, I can shine the light in front of me, pointing right at the needle, and you can see what a nice big light circle I've got here. IKEA is my friend. Hopefully yours too, if you have one near you. This is from Sharon, and she says, hooray, ready to quilt. The applique is done for a friend, but I'd rather be piecing, she says. So, oh, that is cute. So she's got, looks like a Christmas gift, old farm truck. Looks like some Christmas trees in there and some other stuff. So she's ready to quilt it. The applique is all done. That is really cute. Great job. Are you getting in the mood to sew Christmas stuff? I'm not. I'm not yet. Not until Thanksgiving. Then I might want to work with red and green. I have a seasonal quilting disorder. She says, this is what was under my needle, but now she's binding it. Oh, that is beautiful. That is just beautiful. So she's got, look at these sashings on this quilt. Those look like little pumpkin scenes in the squares, but look at those sashings. That is phenomenal. Great job. Just beautiful. So fun to see what you're working on. Okay, Jackie Tucker in Southern California. Hi, Jackie. How are you? She says she's been sewing with her little neighbor girl, making 4-patch blocks. She's 7 and a quick learner. Sophia leans towards perfection and is good in math. Oh, yeah. Quilter in the making. Here we go. After 3 Tuesday afternoons, we have these blocks. Her family is military, so I'm going to play grandma. And she's, oh, how fun. So she's made double 4-patches there. Double 4-patches when my phone stopped doing that crazy jumping around thing. Can you see the Halloween fabrics in there? How fun for a new little quilter to play with double 4-patches and Halloween scraps. Love it. Jackie, you are a sweetheart for taking her into your home and showing her how to, this could change her life. You just never know. When I am home in one place long enough, this is going to happen. When I was in New York, they did a parade when I was in Rochester. Huge place where they had their guild meeting, and they had this cart just piled with all of the donation quilts that the guild members had made that month, and they paraded those donation quilts all the way around the room, and I saw so many beautiful quilts that are made and given with no idea of who's going to get it or what will happen to it or how it will be treated. And I think this is how giving should happen. It should not come with strings attached. You should be able to gift it and let it go. And sometimes when you're giving to family members, that's a little bit hard because we're still viscerally attached to that thing that we gave to somebody else. But when I see the loving and the giving that goes on with guilds who turn out, you know, batch after batch after batch, whether it's Quilts of Valor or other things, placemats for Wheels on Wheels or things for the nursing home or things for the NICU or whatever it is, that's the heart of quilting. That's the heart of quilting right there. The day that I retire is the day that I get back to doing that because I miss it. Molly says, quilt kit and custom pillows. Here's what I have completed. A wedding present in 3 weeks. See? Deadline. Deadline. That's what pushes you. Forgive me, I worked the kit, but with square and in the small size for bed, so expanded the borders. Then used pattern and border fabric for pillows. Should have seen me modifying fabricated pillows for this. I wrangled, but it's done. And she didn't include her photo. There's no photo in here, but I'm so happy that she shared this and that she made her deadline. Great job, Molly. This one says, J. James, nothing under needle. How's that going to catch you for a title? Nothing under needle. Hi from Roanoke, Virginia. Here's the picture of my sewing room at the moment. Been 3 weeks since moving and still no time to put it together. Honey, we've all been there. We've all been there. You are fixing my fix right now or making it worse. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Bedford in February 2018. Yep, that's a cat box on the right. So she's got, well, looks like you're making some progress there. The sewing machine table may be piled with stuff, but hey, you've got beautiful wood floors and yellow walls. So that's going to be a wonderful, great space. So congratulations on your new move. I think it's really exciting to think about settling in and the beautiful things that are going to be created there. So the Bedford she's talking about is Bedford, Virginia, not Bedford, Pennsylvania, but the information is on the calendar of events, under the calendar of events tab at the top of the blog. So you can find where I will be from now until the end of 2019. It's all up there. I have not opened 2020 yet, except for a couple of exclusive long-term things that we really needed to reserve dates for. Beautiful job there. Love that new room. Congrats to you. Okay. Sorting old gifted squares. Not sewing tonight. I sense another theme. New to watching you live, was gifted 2 boxes of finished squares by my cousin. They belonged to my Aunt Darlene, or possibly great aunt, or my grandmother, along with old pattern pieces on newspaper. Love Quilt-Cam. I'm from Port Colborne, Ontario, Canada. So she's got, oh my goodness, those are beautiful. She's got some square and a square and a square blocks and some lovely Dresden plates there. Can you date those fabrics? Can you see? I'm guessing a lot of those are 30s, 40s. Those are wonderful. How neat. And it looks like there's a whole stack of those too. I hope that you are able to put those into something. Her other picture is, oh my gosh, there's some words on it. It says, you don't have to use these colors. So somebody colored out a pineapple block for her and says you don't have to make it in these colors. Absolutely, you don't have to. Those are wonderful. Have fun. You guys don't have snow yet, do you? Met some wonderful gals from Ontario in both of my guild visits up in New York this past week. Oh, Molly said, oh, she sent the wedding pictures. Oh, good. Oh, that's beautiful. That's pretty. So this is the wedding pillows and the quilt that she made. Isn't that beautiful? You know, 99% of us, and I always say 99, maybe it's 87%. That should be my new number. 87% of us, most of the things that we make are for other people. Do you agree? I think quilters are the most giving people on the planet. And that if somebody said, how many quilts do you have you made? Or how many quilts do you have? We'd say, well, most of them I've given away, but. And then we would have the ones that are at home that are well used and loved and stuff like that. But oftentimes the only thing that we have left from making quilts for others is, you know, the making. We have the memory of making the quilt, but then we have the scraps. And we look at those little scraps and it's like, oh yeah, that was in the quilt I made so and so, or this was in the quilt I made so and so else for that thing. So the fabric is the thing that helps remind us of those quilts that we made and that we gave away. In fact, my hubby, I leave for China Thursday. Son Jeff stays home and takes care of Sadie and the cat while we are gone. And the hubby is going to Idaho to go stay with his dad and his brothers. He's going to work remotely via computer from there, but his dad's now in hospice, so he needs to go spend some time there while he still can, and while I'm gone is a good time to do it. So I am sending a quilt in Dave's suitcase for my father-in-law because I can't be there. And we don't know how much longer he'll be with us. And this is just it's a different life experience when somebody has reached 93 and you realize you've just got to really grab every moment that you have, and the choices that you make as far as healthcare when you're 93 are much different than the choices you would make for your healthcare when you're 53. It's just a different thing. And so I've chosen a quilt from the quilt vault of one of the quilts that has not been given away, that will be given away. And that's another thing that quilters are good for. We have quilts on hand, and when disasters happen, we are able to just part with the quilt because we know that it needs to go somewhere, and they do. And let's continue to do that. Okay, so now I've gone as far as I can on this one, just down to row 3 on this one. I feel like, what have I finished? I finished almost 3 blocks tonight in an hour. That's not so bad. That's not so bad. We'd double that if I weren't talking a mile a minute. Okay. Bev Pace says no snow in Ontario, but it did hit about 10 hours north in Timmins, Ontario. Wow. So it's here. Winter's coming. It's going to be here. Cassie says, I bought one of those lights from IKEA. I do love how positionable, I think we made up that word, positionable, it is, since I have old eyes and I need all the light I can get. So she's giving her thumbs up on these IKEA lights. They're $10 compared to any other kind of light like this that does a great job. I've got lights that I've spent nearly $200 on, and I don't think that they do much better light than this, really. Okay, wonderful. And Lisa says, peppermint candy table toppers for Christmas gifts. Making peppermint candy table toppers for Christmas gifts, fun and super easy to make. And, oh, there is a picture. Okay, oh, that is cute. That's cute. So she's done like a huge Dresden plate with an applique circle in the middle, and it just becomes a perfect little table topper. You could put a candle on it or a plate full of baked goodies. It doesn't have to be hard. I bet you could even paper piece that if you had, drew it big enough. That's wonderful. Would be cute small as a mug rug too. So there's lots of ideas. Many cute things are just 1 block plus borders or 1 block plus binding. So we can get that done really quickly. I'm going to do one more. This is from another Texas tumbleweed from Lynn in Lockport. She had a great time in our class, and she used reds as her chains in between the Texas tumbleweed blocks. This quilt is made completely with 2.5 by 4.5 inch rectangles and 2.5 inch squares. It's all stitch and flip. And guess what you get from behind those stitch and flip corners? Bonus triangles. Those are always wonderful. If you make the bonus triangles, you'll find somewhere for them to go. That's just beautiful. Okay, so we have from Susie. Swooze says, putting the rows together while watching from Texas. Safe travels. So she's got some stuff going on there. Isn't that wonderful? I love the rainbow effect and all of the different shades of the colors you've got going on there. That is going to be super fun. Super fun. Okay. Well, my folks and my friends, it has now been an hour since we've been together. So I need to wind this down and wish everybody a lovely evening. As far as next Quilt-Cam, early November. That's about all I can say. Let me get the yardage requirements and the colors out, and then we can be talking about mystery stuff the next time that we do Quilt-Cam. Follow along on the blog, follow along on Facebook, just in case, which is hopefully I can post all of this fun stuff from China. I can't wait to share it with you, and I'll be sharing more when I get back. If it's still early where you are, Don't stop sewing now. You may want to stop by the blog and just print out the direction. There's a PDF directions, printer friendly, so that you can make some of these sweet sugar bowl blocks yourself. Try them out of batik. Try them out of 1930s, or try them out of Christmas fabrics or autumn fabrics or whatever it is. Give these a try. They're very fun. 2 strip widths. I'm using 1.5 and 2.5. The Essential Triangle tool cuts the half square triangles, and I love small rulers for cutting the 4 patches from strip sets. Easy blocks, not a lot of fabric or other supplies needed, just patchwork at its best. Until next time, this is Bonnie Hunter signing off from the basement at Quiltville. Keep quilting, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.